3, 2,
Make sure the audio's good. You want to hear some music while we're waiting for him?
He's ready. You like have that.
Carl, you gonna live DJ this?
oh my god. Live at the public.
Yes.
DJ Paul.
This is it, guys. Everyone. This is your audition for the world, everyone.
Am I gone?
I have two contrasting pieces.
You got like 2 more minutes to talk amongst yourselves.
I have a classical and a contemporary.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I like that idea. Great. Love it.
Carl, you ready? Alright. Okay. Get off your snaps. I'm ready. Everybody else ready? Let's go. We're gonna make some serious things. We're gonna do some funny things. Sound good? Alright.
I'm with it.
Carl, co-pilot? Good?
Ready.
Alright. We're on. Welcome everybody to the Bars Lab with Jasmine Cephas-Jones. We're at the Public Theater. We're broadcasting live on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Oh wow.
Instagram, Twitter.
Hey. I love this.
All right.
Got it.
So play your favorite, everyone. Play your favorite. We're going to take the next hour and ask some questions about Jasmine and her career, and then we're going to play a few games.
Nice.
Behind us is the third cohort of the Bars Lab and some of the alumni. Give it up for them. We also have Carl on sound effects. Carl, a little bit of Carl, wait, suspense. Jasmine? You were born in Brooklyn?
No.
No.
It's going really well. I was born in London, Hammersmith, but I was raised in Brooklyn
When did you move to Brooklyn?
when I was like a few weeks.
Oh,
Because I'm half English.
half English.
Yeah.
And your mother is English.
Yes.
Your dad is Brooklyn.
American. Yes.
Fuck this card. You attended LaGuardia's film school.
Yes.
How was that?
That was awesome.
Why is that? What is it different from a normal high school?
Because we had like a bunch of extra classes that was put into our regular schedule. A lot of people would stay after hours from the normal time to come out of school. We would have like blackout dates for performances. We had like 2 huge theaters. We had like opera workshop. I was there for vocal, and
Oh, there's tracks.
so like there's different like majors there, and I was there for vocal. And I remember my freshman year, like I was given like Italian and German arias, just stuff like that, learning like the IPA system, and it was cool because like the cool kids or the popular kids, it wasn't like the good-looking one or one on the football team. It was the one that was like really into their major and who, you know, auditioned for like the senior chorus. You have to like kind of learn how to sight read. So if you were like in the senior choruses with the seniors, you were like on the football team. You know what I'm saying?
Were you in the senior choruses with the seniors?
I was.
Star quarterback.
But our gospel chorus was legit too. Mr. Reberg. Shout out to Mr. Reberg. It's so funny because Oak would have this on his phone. He had an app of just like meow 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 meow. So we'd be in rehearsal, it's like meow meow meow.
Sometimes you gotta hide life.
Yeah, you do.
Fail. Get off of Instagram. We're on Instagram. You also studied at the neighborhood playhouse.
I did.
Known for the Meisner approach to acting.
Yeah, Meisner technique.
What is that?
So the Meisner technique, the reality of doing under the imaginary circumstances. So, whoa. Exactly. Your first year, for the people, the first year is literally, it's this thing called repetition, where you're like, you're wearing a blue shirt, you're wearing a blue shirt, it's just like observations, and it's just trying to get to a person to read behavior. So that's where I really learned what acting was with trying to connect with somebody without even using words, or just whether it's a look, or really listening to somebody when they say something, so you can truly react to what they're saying. And it was really intense because it wasn't that type of school where you could kind of hide in the back of the class. Like, it was a very small class, and then you would get cut after the second year. Like, you didn't even know if you were gonna make it in the second year. So like people were like busting their butts like really hard and intensely to try to like get into the second year.
And how often are you there? What's
Five days a week.
5 days a week.
2-year program.
How old were you when you did it?
So I was at Berkeley College of Music for 2 years. So I graduated 2007.
Anybody know that's Berkeley?
Okay, you bought my school.
Got it.
Okay. So Berkeley's huge now, right? Crazy.
Endowment for real.
For real. So yeah, I graduated 2007, was at Berkeley for 2 years to 2009, and then 2009 to 2011 was neighborhood playhouse.
Many people ask the annoying question with friends, fuck, marry, kill. You ever played that game before?
Oh yeah.
We're not going to do it right now.
Right now. Got it.
No one ever asked the better question, hire, fire, internship. Who would you hire to work for you on a project? Who would you give their first big break to? Who would you fire if you could fire anyone today in any field? Who would you fire? And who would you like an internship with?
I hire, like
Yeah.
as one of my
Like,
friends?
Any kind of thing. If you were like, I want to give somebody a job right now,
Right.
who would you give a job to?
Who would I give a job to?
Yeah.
One of my friends that I, Leslie Jr.
What would you hire him to do?
Seeing the catalog of the phone book. I don't know anything.
All right, Leslie Odom Jr. is hired to sing the phone book.
Okay, great.
Who would you? Who would you fire right now?
Who would I fire?
Yeah, if someone's in a job right now, you could fire them right now. Who would you fire?
Trump.
You might say you're fired. And who would you want an internship with?
Gary Oldman.
Good choices. You're also a member of Labyrinth Theater Company, who has people in it like Philip Seymour Hoffman, this guy, Ron Cephas-Jones, really good. Chris Rock, Sam Rockwell, Ethan Hawke, Pedro Pascal, John Ortiz, Judy Reyes, tons of folks. What is Labyrinth?
Labyrinth is a theater company. Bunch of writers, bunch of actors, producers, directors.
How do
Founded
they all meet?
in the early 90s. It actually started as Latinos actors base for Latino actors and actresses, and then it just slowly kind of grew from there and got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think it really got onto the scene when Stephen Abby Girgis wrote Jesus Off the A Train and Our Lady of 121st Street. And that's when Philip Seymour Hoffman came in and he directed those two plays. And that's I feel like those two plays were that kind of put them on the map of like New York downtown theater. And I was just that theater kid that, you know, I would get picked up from school or I would meet my dad like at the theater, and I was doing my math homework backstage or hanging out with the light person or being there for rehearsal, and I was always just running around somewhere. And that's kind of where I first saw like acting on stage. Like a lot of people, when they see like their first play or like or something, a piece of theater, it's like on Broadway, but mine was Labyrinth Theater Company.
Your dad was taking you to like rehearsals.
My dad would take me to auditions, and I'd be in the room, he'd be like, well, like she ain't going nowhere, so.
I have a child.
But I have a kid, like I can't leave her out there. So I was kind of always around it in some type of way. But I don't think I didn't really decide that it was something that I wanted to do until high school when I was in Pirates and Penzance.
I'm sorry, I don't have that card. Can we go back to Pirates, please? What was this show?
Pirates and Penzance.
Okay.
It was opera workshop at my school. And what's another thing that was dope about LaGuardia is if you were in opera workshop, you got to go to the Met for $15. And like I would just go with some of my friends, and people would be like in ball gowns and like come out, and we'd just be like with our backpacks, like going to the Met, which was like down the block. And that's where I first saw like the magic flute.
Yeah.
This is from the Fifth Element,
Yeah, no, I know.
so I don't know why I'm mixing this.
Fifth Element flute at the Met.
Right.
Why is being in the theater company necessary for you?
I saw writers writing for people that they knew, and that's why I think it's also so dope about this, that if you guys end this workshop, you get to meet people, or you've written with people that you know, and you can continue to do that. That's what I first saw at Labyrinth. So I would see these people have like this awesome chemistry on stage because they all knew each other. And Stephen would write like amazing writing because he had his friends in mind. And he'd be like, all right, I wrote this for you. You know? So it would just come out of their mouths like lava, and they didn't really have to do crazy. I mean, they did some crazy preparation. I've seen some crazy preparation. I've seen Liz Canavan like lock herself in a closet before like she went on for like almost for like 15 minutes, and she would come out like red face, like crying. Like that's I first saw that when I was like 11, and I was like, oh. You know what I mean? Just like taking time to develop your craft in a certain way, and all those people are so good at what they do. Those are like the people, my first people that influenced me as a performer, I think, watching people in that company. So I think it's really important not to wait for people to give you things. If you're blessed enough to be surrounded by good people or a good support system that are talented as hell, like, just write. Just write, you know? So, yeah.
Where's the horn? When you were 10, you overheard Philip Seymour Hoffman say something wise about acting discipline. Can you remember what that was?
Oh, he said you're acting. And I was like looking at my dad like, what? Like, aren't actors, like you're what the heck does that mean? And it was a note of saying like you're trying too much, like you're not being truthful in the moment. And that's going back to what I was saying before. He also studied Meisner, so that's what that means. It's like, you know, at this moment, like you're acting. Like as an actor, you don't ever want to be on stage and get a note you're acting. It's like, damn. It's like the thing that you like don't want to do. You wanna be truthful in the moment. That's what you want to do. You want to be believable, not acting. If that makes any sense.
Can we talk about that for 2 seconds? What does it mean to be sort of believable and fully present in the moment? Like in your experience in studying that technique, like how do you sort of arrive at your place of being fully present?
I think it depends on what the scene is or what the scenario is. But if it's something where that's not like fun, or if it's something fun, I'll listen to like fun music. But if it's something that like goes like way deep, I have to just take that time and do a bunch of like what ifs in my head, or sit and really think of like what that situation is. I have to take time out to do that. I can't just, hey guys, whoa, my mother's dead. You know, you've got to like, you have to take that time and prepare for that. And how I do that is very different. I don't think it's ever really the same. I think as long as I take a quiet moment to myself, that's when like I can't talk to people. It's kind of like it's me being on my own, whatever that situation is.
In a lot of your interviews, people ask you about your dad. He's quite a well-known actor. Your mom was also a well-known jazz singer. Tell us a little bit about growing up around a singer like that. What did she teach you about your voice?
My mom taught me actually a lot of the importance of musicians. So I grew up on a lot of Charlie Parker and Miles Davis, singers that used their voices as instruments, and knowing that the band is just as important as the singer. So like Michelle Rigocello, and like Prince was my first concert when I was 14. Important to see not just singers but also musicians is just as important. She had like the dopest CD collection, so I just sit there and take CDs and like tapes that she had, and just listen to it by myself and find music before, you know, the internet, you know, maybe LimeWire. Y'all remember LimeWire?
LimeWire back in the day.
But that was like, different music or older music was exposed to me by just me going in her crazy CD collection that she had. And she started out, as a jazz singer. And sometimes she would give me warm-ups to do, or back and forth. But also, like, she was my mom. When you're a teenager, your mom says things, you're like, no, Mom, I need your help.
Obviously, we do a lot of verse-driven theater here at Bars. That's sort of a theme we got going. You were in Hamilton. Obviously, that was a huge show for verse-driven theater. Had you had any experience with doing verse-driven work prior, and how did it feel to be rehearsing an entire production in verse?
No, I mean the closest thing is like maybe like Shakespeare. Do you know what I'm saying? That we all, like, I learned a little bit in high school and then through my college years, but Hamilton was just a different ball game. I mean, I first heard that music and like my jaw dropped. And growing up with music like that, I could like relate to it, where like rhythmically, musically, the music that I listened to, it was like yes, like it felt so good to listen to something where immediately like my body just responded to it, like this feels good, this is it, like I want to be a part of this. And with stuff like that, there's such a flow to it. There's been a couple of times, we ain't perfect. You have 8 shows a week, and you might flip up on a line or whatever. It's like the end of the week, and like you'll mess up on a line, but the music's so good, and like like the rhythms of everything. It just comes back without you thinking. Like you'll flip off like a one word, but that's the thing with verse. It's like such a da 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 da. Like it's right there. It's right there. You forget one word, and you're like, and then you go right back into it. So that was like the beauty. That's the beauty of that show, or that type of piece, where like in a play, if you kind of like flip up on a line, you've got to like kind of find your place where like the music is playing, and you're like, oh, okay, like I'm back in there. So I mean, it was incredible.
You've done some feature and television work, Blue Bloods, Mistress in America. There's a film on your Instagram with you on a bike and some leather. We're working on a film in California. What's the difference between acting on stage versus acting on screen?
You can't edit on stage. You can't edit a thing. And also, if it's something that's as big as a show like Hamilton, people know the words. By the time the album came out, there's people in the first row like people know every word, every breath. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere.
Yeah, when did you guys go platinum? At what point were there like?
I can't.
Was that like February?
It's all a blur to me, to be honest.
But at that point, like 1 million people had the soundtrack and were like,
so it's like
knew
it's
all
one
the words.
thing to start out at the public where people are like, what is this thing? Like, Hamilton rapping? What the heck? And then like by the flash forward to like a few months later, and then the album's out. Like everybody knows what this show is. So
now everyone's a director.
So now everybody's a director of
She didn't get that line this time.
Right, exactly.
Send back the notes.
Like, sometimes like a note might not come out the way that you want it to come out, but we're not perfect, and we're not machines, and that's the thing. Like it's a three hour show 8 times a week. You're gonna have your good days and you're gonna have your bad days, and you're gonna have to learn how to go around that.
Sometimes two shows.
Yeah, sometimes two shows a day. And I remember there was this one time, it was the week of the Tonys, and I had the flu, sinus infection, and I had the worst fever I think I've ever had. And that week, it was starting to like come on that week, and I did the show on a Thursday. The Tonys was a Sunday, I think, and my voice was slowly starting to leave me throughout the show. What I should have done was called out in intermission, because it's two different characters. One, you know what I'm saying, like Peggy Mariah, completely different. Like I could have easily called out and
Could have
just
been
like,
another actor.
you know what I mean? Like, but it's my first time. I've never called out of a show. Like, whatever. So by the
Now
time,
you're like, I will call.
yo,
I will
listen.
call out.
But like by the time Say No to This comes around, I completely have no voice. And it was probably one of the most terrifying moments of my life. And I remember Javi was on. Javi, who still plays Hamilton
now.
on Broadway now. Shout out to Javi. He just saw it like in my eyes, because I was looking at him like, you just help me, like in my eyes. I looked at him and I was like, just help me. And he just like got it, and I was right there. He was right there with me, and I basically talked the whole entire song and just saved saved that was all that could come out, and that's all I could save. And I was like, if I'm gonna do this, like I'm just gonna talk and like just try to like act right now. Like whatever.
Like it's a choice.
It's like it's a choice, and that's the choice that I had to make. But it was like I learned so much from that, because like, you know, we're not machines, and sometimes you just have to work with what you've got. And a lot of people, you know, might put pressure on you because they know the musical so well, but like at the end of the day, like if you're in it, you're in it. And that's the thing, that's the difference between film and theater. It's like I couldn't, once I was on that stage, I couldn't call out or be like, stop. You know, can we move this? Can we edit this? I had to deal with what I had to deal with at that moment. But the story still got, you know, people still got what the story was, which was a beautiful thing. It was just not in the way that they heard on the album, but it was still, I was still there 100%. Just not vocally. So
you expressed in an interview once the frustrations with the somewhat limited or typical roles for women. I think you were talking about film and TV, but
Yeah.
it's gonna play. And I think it was Lydia Mack. Said you were 26. I'm only 26 and I'm already worried about this. It's bold that women are still treated this way in the industry, but I'm planning to be Judi Dench. I want to be around for a long time. What are those frustrations, and what did Judi Dench figure out?
well, what I meant by that was like I want to act until you roll me out of here. You know what I mean? Or until like I don't want to do it anymore. Like, and I think with women, we sometimes have this pressure, you know, with like kids, and you know, if we get pregnant, like, are we gonna work for a year? Like there's like all these things that come with that, or like, you know, your prime time is like between here. You got, you know, people like George Clooney that still plays like the young guy, and he's like, you know, 50, 60 years old, and he still can get to play like that type of role. So I think there's I think as women sometimes we feel a little more pressure with that, or we have to like look a certain way or be a certain weight. You know, I've had auditions where for a show one time, and you know, in the description it was like she has to be like sexy and like rap and sing or whatever. So like I put on an outfit, whatever, and I went in and did the audition, and then like they were like, she was really good, but can she come back with her hair straight and dressed more sexy? And it was like, you can't you just see like my talent for what it is and like just put me in a costume? Like, why do I have to come back and prove to you that like I'm sexy enough with of the clothes that I wear? And it was like that point of being like, you know, I worked so hard, or like I studied so hard for this. I didn't study for that. You know, and it's like those type of things like get me pissed off. Basically, it just pisses me off a lot. So that's what so it's just some of those things that I think women have to deal with that men don't have to in this business.
Now we're going to. Now we're going to play some games. First game I'd like to play is a game called Slumdog Jasmine. They ask you a series of multiple choice questions. You're going to do your best to answer those questions. For anybody just tuning in, we're here at the Public Theater with Jasmine Cephas-Jones. We're going to begin playing some games. You're at the Bars Lab for Theater in Verse. And we are beginning our game portion of the interview. You get my theme music? You represent Brooklyn, as have many historic figures before you. Which of these people is not from Brooklyn? Is it A, Mel Brooks, B, Jerry Seinfeld, C, Mike Tyson, or D, Tracy Morgan?
What was the second one?
Jerry Seinfeld.
What's the first one?
Mel Brooks.
Jerry Seinfeld?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
It is incorrect. It's Tracy Morgan from the Bronx.
Oh.
Mel Brooks, Jerry Seinfeld, Mike Tyson, all from your hood.
Really? Tracy Morgan?
Yeah?
Wow.
You get Tracy Morgan's from the Bronx. Jerry Seinfeld is from
I
Brooklyn.
don't like this music. It's really making me nervous.
Before Chris Tucker starred, this music's long, I can go for a while. Before Chris Tucker starred in one of your favorite movies, The Fifth Element, as Ruby Ross, the director tried to cast another actor for the role who turned it down. Was it A, Martin Lawrence, B, Eddie Murphy, C, Prince, or D, David Bowie?
Whoa. What was the first one?
Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy, Prince, or David Bowie? There's no lifelines on this one.
B?
Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
That was the happy one, but that's incorrect. It was the answer is the answer is Prince. Prince was originally supposed to play
I just thought
Ruby
he
Ross.
based his character
No,
on
it was
Prince.
supposed to be Prince, but apparently they proposed an outfit that Prince didn't approve of. He said Ruby Ross's outfit was too feminine.
What?
Prince then.
What?
Prince.
Final question. You participated in a show where old white people were played by young, sexy people of color. If you could recast a white movie to be played by dope actors of color, which movie would be the most awesome to see? A,
Wait, say that again,
if you could recast a white movie to be played by dope actors of color, which movie would be the most awesome to see? A, The Godfather starring young Sidney Poitier. B, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, starring a young Aziz Ansari. Batman, starring an early 30s Idris Elba. Wow. Or D, Indiana Jones, starring Ruth Negga right now.
I think I'd say
B, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, starring Aziz Ansari.
Yeah.
The room says yes. All right, it's time for our next game.
Oh, God.
Hold. This game is called Where in the World is Jasmine San Diego? You know how to disguise your voice in many different ways. In a few different social media stories, I've heard a number of different accents you must use to keep the gumshoes off your trail. Perhaps you remember these encounters and will relive them with us. Do we have extra cards? I'm just going to pass these over. Pass these over. All right. At the bottom of each of these cards is a phrase to read in your respective accents.
Okay.
All right, gumshoes. Let's find Jasmine San Diego. We did that thing to her. All right. One of our gumshoes saw her at a pub in Scotland, yelling at a man who had just tried to get fresh with her, but she sounded different. She sounded like...
Hey, I'll flog you right in the face for a crime of touching a lady. What sort of shite is this?
Bollocks! Another gumshoe saw her just outside of London, staring up into the sunset and reflecting on her life of crime. But she sounded different. She sounded like...
This life of crime has made it quite difficult for me to practice air guitar anywhere, but in the most secluded of areas like this.
Scheisse! But wait, another gumshoe just spotted her in Germany, getting interrogated by police for suspicion of stealing a precious diamond. But she sounded different.
Still get it, girl. You got it.
What? Makes you think I have any idea where the diamonds are.
That was great.
Yeah, man! Another gumshoe spotted her in Jamaica, where she was visibly intoxicated and trying to buy a beach ball from an elderly man. But she sounded different.
Bumper Ascot, come on, what you say we trade this here $41 I have in quarters and you give me a few bounces and a ball of yours?
And now it's time for our final game. We're going to just find our happy place here, and we're going to play a little game called Wying in the Deep. He gives a little gong. Give me a little... To prove that everything means something, I will ask you a simple question. You will start very loud. You will start with the obvious answer, the first thing that comes to mind, right? Clear your mind, and then the first thing that comes to mind, that should be your answer. And then I'm just going to ask you, why? Jasmine, let the rain stick fall over you. Do you like aquariums?
Yes.
Why?
Because I like to see the aquariums, but actually, it's kind of messed up aquariums, you know, because like the animals, like they're not very free, so
Stop
maybe
it. Why? Are they not free?
because they're like enslaved, they're not in their natural habitat.
Why?
Because people have, bad humans have taken them out their natural habitat to make, you know, a circus, make an entertainment.
Jasmine, do you love the artist Prince? Why?
Because he's an amazing musician.
Why?
Because he can actually play almost every single instrument. And he's a great songwriter and a great performer. Because he inspires a lot of people. And I'm going to say why. Because he wasn't afraid to be his true self. And I like that about him.
Why?
Because I would like to not be afraid to be my true self.
Why?
Because I feel like I could be the best artist if I am my true self.
We'll do one more.
I actually really don't like aquariums now. Thank you.
Jasmine, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food?
Today.
Soul food?
Why? Why?
Let's just run from the why.
This is gonna get deep. Why?
That's where her parents are from.
Why?
They're there. Because their parents before them and theirs. And then we all know what that reason is. Because they got stolen. And
Why?
why did they get stolen? For money and greed and labor.
American history and aquariums. We're going to do our last bars question, and then if we have time, 2 from the Twitterverse. If you're just tuning in now, you've missed all the games at the bars lab. Jasmine Cephas-Jones. The bars question. We can stop with this.
You're not fully like turning your head and your neck. It's like the neck and head turn.
I shoot the camera. I'm the camera training. This is the bars question. It's on the application that everyone here has answered. We make every guest answer. If you could create a Captain Planet-esque superhero artist made of the power of 3 artists combined, 1 songwriter or rapper, ding, 1 author, and 1 play or screenwriter, who would be your 3? List only 3 and don't exclude. So the first one is songwriter or rapper, 1 author, 1 play or screenwriter.
Stevie Wonder. J.K. Rowling. Steve Wonder.
quick lightning round questions from the Twitterverse before we get out of here. Maya, whose handle is Only Smart One on Twitter, asks, how do you deal with rejection?
Oh man, that's very long. I still deal with rejection. I don't think it ever.
I think the middle one's Twitter. Hello.
Hi, Twitter. I think we all still. I don't think that ever really goes away. That feeling of rejection. It's how do you deal with it. A lot of it isn't up to you. So, doing the best work that you can do, especially in an audition and walking out the audition knowing that you did your best work, that's the only thing that you have control over. The rest is politics and really has nothing to do with you. So just try your best and do your best work, and that's all that matters.
Last question from Twitter that we'll take is from Tabby. With your ever-growing fame, what are some issues you hope to bring attention to?
Probably, I think what we talked about before, women in this business. And I think, especially with the jobs that I choose, having a purpose behind them, whether it's showing women that we can be more than one thing, that we can be heroes, we can be the detective, we have more than just one role of being the wife or the girlfriend or the blah blah blah. Yeah, I think.
Thank you, Jasmine Cephas-Jones, for coming to the bar. Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, Twitter. Thank you, Facebook. Say what's up to us on the gram. Follow Jasmine. Follow the Bars Workshop NYC, and we'll see you next week with James Iglehart.
Oh,
Yeah. Outro music. We're gonna get you there, Carl. Yep.